especially young men, I think none of us are equipped to deal with grief. You know, before I lost my fiance, I never knew what to say to a friend who had lost someone. Or, there's times when I would think, oh, I shouldn't bring it up because I don't want to upset them. And, what I found after losing Jack was it upset me more when I would run into someone and I knew they knew and they didn't say anything, and I could tell that they were trying to avoid it or were uncomfortable. And I wanted to just say to them, it's okay, you can acknowledge it because you're not going to upset me. It's always on my mind, and now all I'm thinking about is the fact that you haven't said anything. But
Right.
but I think just generally, none of us are equipped for this. We don't know how to deal with it when something like this happens, and especially young guys. You're absolutely right. Like I remember going, a group of Jack's guy friends from high school. It took me out to dinner probably 2 months after he passed, and they wanted to get me out of the house, and it was really sweet. They put this together, but I remember sitting at that dinner and like none of them were talking about Jack or bringing it up. And I think in their mind, they were doing the right thing. They were trying to distract
Right.
me and give me this fun night out. But all I wanted to do was talk about him. And I remember sitting there and it just made me feel even more lonely and isolated. And I think eventually I started bringing him up, and then it kind of opened the floodgates and we talked about him and how we were all doing. And I, it's they were doing what they thought was the right thing, and it's
Yeah.
something probably how I would have handled it, before I went through this. So it's been a learning experience, I think, for me, for my friends, for my family. And the other thing is, everyone deals with grief differently. Like for me, I find it comforting to talk about him and share stories, and other people don't, So it's a very, it's specific to each person, and when I turn to TikTok and share my tips or advice, I say I'm not an expert. I'm just one man who's been grieving, and this is what I have found that helps me. And it might not be the same for everyone, but my whole mission right now is just to get people to be more comfortable talking about grief, sharing their feelings, and being authentic, speaking their mind. And I just hope that'll be a takeaway that people have from watching my videos or whatever.
Well, I love what you're doing. I think it's having a massive impact. I mean, you're seeing that in the growth of your channels and what you're sharing on social media. So personally, I love what you're doing. I think it's amazing. And we do
Thank you.
similar things. It's funny that like I always say like I'm not an expert on any of the topics I talk about, but I'm just willing to talk about it. And I think
Yeah.
you need that person or just somebody to kind of like be like, hey, like I'm not equipped with all these tools, but I'm gonna try and I'm gonna share my experience with you and be as
Right.
open and honest as possible. And I think that sometimes like that's just really beneficial and
Totally.
valuable.